I'm a travel vlogger, and my channel's dying. I've been losing subscribers for months, and every abandoned place I've visited just feels like the same old thing. I need something fresh, something that'll get people talking. That's when I hear about Blackwood Forest, tucked deep in the Appalachian Mountains. No trails, no official maps, just endless stories about people disappearing, strange lights, and whispers that the forest moves on its own. No one's ever filmed there, and I'm determined to be the first. I arrived just before sunset, the sky bleeding this eerie orange that makes the shadows stretch out like claws. The trees are ancient, towering over everything, and the forest itself is dead silent, not a single bird, no rustling leaves, just this heavy, oppressive quiet that sinks into your bones. It's like the whole place is waiting for something. This is it. My big comeback. If I can film what's inside Blackwood Forest, I'll have the kind of content that people can't look away from. I'm betting everything on this one night. All I need to do is spend a few hours in there, capture whatever's hidden, and make it out alive. Easy, right? Before heading into the forest, I stop at this little bait shop on the edge of town to grab some supplies. It's the kind of place that feels like it hasn't changed in 50 years. Dusty shelves, flickering lights, and locals who eye me like I don't belong. When I mention Blackwood, the room goes dead quiet. An old hunter sitting at the counter pulls me aside. He reeks of whiskey, and his voice is all gravel as he warns me to stay away. He says Blackwood doesn't just lose people, it swallows them. He talks about paths that shift, trees that seem to watch you, and voices that lead you deeper until you can't find your way back. I brush it off as just another backwoods ghost story, meant to spook tourists. But as I turn to leave, the hunter grabs my arm, his grip like iron, and his eyes bore into mine. The forests don't like to be seen, he whispers, and I feel a chill crawl up my spine. I push through, trying to shake off the old man's warning. My camera's rolling, and I'm talking to my viewers like it's just another day on the job. But as the sun dips below the horizon, something changes. The forest feels different, darker, colder, like it's alive and watching. Shadows stretch way too long, twisting into shapes that shouldn't be possible. I keep walking, but every path looks the same, and the deeper I go, the more I hear things, branches snapping in the distance, low murmurs that seem to come from the trees themselves. It's like the forest is whispering secrets, pulling me in, and I can't help but feel like I've already gone too far. The next morning, I find an old, overgrown trail hidden beneath layers of dead leaves and twisted branches. It's not on any map or mentioned in any guide, almost like the forest itself tried to erase it. I can't resist, I follow it deeper, and it opens into a small, eerie clearing. There are crumbling structures, maybe the remnants of an old camp or village. Broken cabins lean at odd angles, rusted tools are scattered around, and the trees surrounding the area are marked with strange, jagged carvings. In the center of the clearing stands a crude altar, draped with rotting animal bones, old trinkets, and pieces of clothing left to decay. It's like some kind of ritual site, hidden away from the world. Digging through the rubble, I discover a waterlogged journal buried under a pile of rocks. Most of it is ruined, but what's left is enough to paint a picture. The entries are from a group of settlers who tried to live in Blackwood centuries ago. They write about hearing whispers, seeing shadows, and paths that change overnight. There are frantic notes about the forest needing to be fed to keep its secrets, and warnings about a gate deep within the woods that should never be opened. The final pages are filled with drawings of the symbols etched into the trees, repeating over and over, like a desperate plea to whoever might find them. The air around me gets colder, and I feel like the trees are leaning in, watching. The forest is alive, and it doesn't want me to leave. As night falls again, I try to head back, but no matter which way I turn, every path loops back to the clearing. It's like the forest is toying with me, shifting and twisting, bending reality to keep me trapped. The whispers grow louder, overlapping, like dozens of voices speaking at once, some begging, others taunting. Shadows flicker in the corner of my vision, darting between the trees. My camera glitches, static filling the screen, and I can't tell if the things I'm seeing are real or just my mind unraveling. The forest has taken control, warping space and time to pull me deeper. I realize with a sickening dread that I'm not just lost, the forest has me, and it doesn't plan on letting me go. The journal's warnings weren't just the ramblings of scared settlers, they were trying to protect anyone who'd come after them. They had uncovered something ancient, something that feeds on fear and despair. The shadows I see aren't just illusions, they're the spirits of those who got lost here, trapped between the trees, cursed to haunt these woods forever. The forest is a living entity, a predator that lures you in, twists your senses, and devours you whole. And now, it wants me as its next victim. Desperation kicks in, and I start running. I sprint through the forest, trying every path, every direction, but it's like the trees themselves are moving, blocking my way. I finally spot the faint glow of my car's headlights through the tangled branches. I dash toward them, but just as I'm about to break free, something grips my ankle, tight, cold, and unyielding. I'm yanked back, roots and branches wrapping around me like fingers, dragging me deeper into the woods. I claw and fight, tearing at the vines, and with one last surge of strength, I break free, tumbling out onto the dirt road. I scramble to my feet, camera still clutched in my hand, and run until my lungs burn. I collapse near my car, gasping for breath, and look back. The forest stands silent, looming, and I can feel its presence, angry, watchful, but almost amused. The trees sway slightly, and the whispers fade, but I know they're still there, just below the surface, waiting. The footage on my camera is scrambled, images twisted and warped, almost like the forest was trying to hide itself. But the audio caught the whispers, soft, chilling, unmistakable. Blackwood Forest isn't just a place on a map, it's a predator, ancient and hungry, lying in wait for anyone foolish enough to wander inside. My story isn't just a warning, it's proof. This place doesn't want to be seen, and those who try to uncover its secrets risk losing far more than their way out. If you hear the forest calling, ignore it, turn back, and never look over your shoulder, because once Blackwood has its sights on you, escaping is only the beginning of the nightmare.